Hi everyone. Now, after a long battle with the Australian government and the palace here in London, Professor Jenny Hocking has finally been given access to the palace letters. These are letters between the Queen and the Governor-General John Kerr in the run-up to Kerr's 1975 dismissal of Prime Minister Gough Whitlam. These letters show the palace was well aware of Kerr's thinking about a possible dismissal, and the Queen advised Kerr on his constitutional powers. As Jenny Hocking put it, Kerr didn't seek legal opinion from the Attorney General or any other Australian legal counsel. He wrote regularly to the Queen through her private secretary Martin Charteris. The Queen fully engaged in a discussion about the situation and Kerr's options. Now, some reports have made a lot of the fact that on the day of the dismissal, Kerr acted without telling the Queen first. But that misses the point. The Queen was well aware of the situation and that Kerr was actively considering dismissal as an option. There were two problems with the Queen's conduct here. Firstly, she gave constitutional advice to the Governor-General. That dismissal was in his power. That was at best controversial and at worst entirely unconstitutional. Now, it's important to understand here that Kerr dismissed the Prime Minister despite Whitlam having the support of the lower house, but because the upper house, the Senate, was blocking the government's budget. Now, this is like the Queen dismissing Boris Johnson tomorrow because the House of Lords is blocking a government bill. The Westminster system is based on government being formed by the person with the support of the lower house, so there was no constitutional basis for a dismissal. Secondly, the Queen's job, so I've been told many times over, is to advise and warn the Prime Minister. But the Queen didn't do this in 1975. She did nothing to alert the PM to what Kerr was up to. She neither advised nor warned. She sat back and let Kerr get on with it and patted him on the back afterwards for a job well done. Today the Queen issued a statement claiming the letters show she had no part to play in the dismissal and was cleared of any wrongdoing. Now, that simply isn't true. The palace is now resorting to dishonesty and denial, having lost a 4-year legal battle to keep these letters locked away. Perhaps instead she could explain her actions and apologise to Australia for her negligence. For many Australians, this is particularly galling to think that their de facto head of state, Kerr, the Governor-General, would only consult a foreign head of state on such a controversial abuse of powers which arguably no longer existed. Now, calls for a republic in Australia have been growing today, as polling shows 67% wanting an Australian head of state instead of the Queen. So I hope that for the good of Australian democracy and the benefit of Republican movements everywhere, Australia now makes that decisive move to full independence with their own head of state. An Australian head of state living in Australia and working for all Australians. Don't forget, if you want Britain to become a republic, do support Republic at republic.org.uk, where you can donate, join or get involved. And if you like our YouTube content, please do subscribe to the channel and share our videos. That way we reach a much larger audience, and it means we're going to carry on making videos that challenge the monarchy and make the case for a British republic. See you next time.